Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. A quick info before we begin. Today's video has 2 stories and both of them have updates. Now let's get started with the first one. This post is from the subreddit Relationships and it's by user Emotional Mess 2017. My ex, 26 male, wants me, 25 female back, but I have a date with someone else. What do I do? I dated this guy for a while, but it was clear he had a lot of baggage. He was afraid to commit and afraid of getting hurt again, and he ended up ditching me out of the blue without an explanation. I wrote him off and started to move on, but he contacted me again last week. He gave me a pretty speech about how he messed up and how he's sorry and how he's willing to do whatever it takes to be in my life any way I'll have him. Whether that's just friends or something more, but he wants to be with me again and won't be dating anyone else. So far, he's been doing a good job of being honest, open, and actually proving that he may have changed, and we're only talking, but I'm still really skeptical. The problem is that I have a date this weekend that I had planned before he got back in touch. I know I don't owe him anything and he's working hard even to prove that I should let him be my friend, but he's not dating anyone else in the hopes of being with me, so I felt skeezy not telling him about it. So I told him I had a date and he was really supportive. He said he didn't feel like he had any ground to stand on to say no, so that I should go, have fun, see if we suit each other better, and that he's still going to try to be friends with me no matter what. I was surprised, but during one of our recent talks, I said something flirty and he told me I shouldn't be flirting with him since I have a date and I need to give it a chance. Then it seemed like he was actively pushing me towards this other guy, who I haven't even met in person yet. I'm confused and hurt now. He basically told me to date this other guy and we'll just be friends. And I can't tell if he's saying that because he no longer wants to date me and this seems like an easy out, or if he's jealous and doesn't want to say anything, so he's sort of covering that by being too pushy and fake supportive about me going. It feels like he's rejecting me and I don't like it. Honestly, I really like this guy and I want to be with him, but I'm scared that he's going to let me down again, so I'm being cautious. I would never set up a date with someone new after he got back in touch, but now I feel like I'm in a pickle. If I go on a date, I might be alienating the guy who I want to be with, but who might hurt me. If I don't go, I feel like I'm letting him have too much power over my life when he's supposed to be proving himself to me right now. I'm confused and could use an outside perspective. What do you think? What should I do? Well, OP, what do I think? I think this guy is smart. Either I'm overly jaded or I get the impression that this guy is trying to manipulate you by using some sort of cheap reverse psychology. And apparently it's working because you're incredibly confused right now. This guy ghosted you without a reason. You guys were dating, I don't know for how long because you didn't give us any background, but he just disappeared on you. No explanation, no nothing. So you've got no closure, which is something that he's playing on right now. Now, in my opinion, the fact that he's pushing you to go on this date is his way of portraying himself as a nice guy, as a nice person, as a good guy who's not jealous. He actually wants the best for you, right? Now, on the other hand, OP, because you didn't get any closure from the first time you guys dated, I think you've got decision paralysis. Because the way you're looking at it is, if you go on the date, you alienate the guy that you like. And if you don't go on the date, you're giving this guy too much power, somebody who already hurt you. Now, my solution to this would be remove him from the equation. That way, he doesn't have a say, he doesn't have any power, and you don't feel bad about anything. So I would try to work over that closure without him being in your life. And just go out and enjoy that date. And what do you guys think about this whole situation? What would you do if you were in OP's shoes? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Escapologist by Night says, definitely go on the date and it's good you told him. Hard to know why he reacted the way he did. Maybe he's just trying to be a good person and do the right thing. If you want to go on another date with this other person, great. And if you don't, then you can focus on this ex. But don't put all of your eggs in one basket as he seems confused in what he wants. And OP responds, I don't really even know the other person, it's a first date, but he seems nice enough and I'd feel bad canceling on him. I'm basically going to feel bad either way now and it's eating me up. He's telling me he wants me, but he's also telling me to go on the date and we can just be friends. I almost wish he'd either say, "I think we should just be friends," or "I am jealous, please don't go out with anyone else." As it is, I can't tell what he's thinking and don't know what to do. Kodiak01 says, drop the ex from your life altogether. He's going from insecure issue boy to passive-aggressive guilt-tripping creeper. As long as you keep in contact with him, he's going to continue to inch into your life, trying to get into the friend zone in the hopes that someday you'll come around and sweep him off his feet. The fact that you are already viewing this as a power struggle is a huge red flag. Those are the actions of a boy. You deserve a man. Don't play his games. Hell, it sounds almost like he gets off on this sort of drama. And Opie responds, I am so worried that you're right. I just honestly can't tell if he's actually changed and is being mature and amazing about this, or if he's being a passive-aggressive creeper. He just seems so genuine, and as much as I'm trying to resist believing him, I sorta do. He really seems to be willing to do anything, including watching me go out on a date with another man. I just really sympathize with him because the baggage he does have comes from people treating him terribly, and as someone who has been treated terribly too, it's hard for me to write him off when it seems like he's really trying his hardest to overcome it and be strong and dependable for me. I just hope it's not a game. And JD Machi says, quote, he's jealous and doesn't want to say anything, so he's sort of covering that by being too pushy and fake supportive about me going. You hit the nail on the head with this one. Additional information from Opie's comments. Some background. We were together for like 4 months, which isn't very long, but we clicked really well right away. He disappeared. I won't even say breakup because he literally just disappeared without a word for a month of full no contact. He said he used that time to work on his issues because while he wanted to commit to me before, he was too afraid and needed to address those fears before he could. He says he is ready now. From what he tells me, the month of no contact wasn't about moving on from me. It was about trying to sort himself out so he could commit to me, but didn't mention any of this to me and I had no idea. And that's why I call BS. He's already let me down a couple of times when he told me he was ready for a commitment and backed out. He ghosted me for a month. He might be doing that again and I would feel like the biggest idiot in the world if I let him do that. He admits, I have no reason to trust him right now. I just wish I'd never made this date in the first place, but I had no idea he'd be popping back into my life. If I cancel, that's giving him the green light to treat me poorly again. And I also can't tell if by telling me to go, he's just using it as an excuse to back out of his promise to do whatever it takes to be with me. Now, my natural inclination to give second chances has put me in a world of hurt sometimes, but I just don't know how to stop. I see the best case scenario and I want it, so I go for it, even if it ends up biting me in the ass. I hate the thought that I'm giving up my self-respect, but it does feel that way sometimes, and I'm worried about going on the date because if he is reliable and I go on the date, I'm worried I'll be jeopardizing that. But also, if he's as earnest as he says he is, it won't matter if I go on the date or not, he'll still want to be with me. So I either feel guilty for going out with a random guy when what I actually want is to be with someone who might hurt me, or I feel guilty for canceling on a perfectly nice guy because I have a dramatic situation going on. I can't see a good choice. Again, OP, the choice is to cut this ex loose. He left you for a month without saying anything because he was working on himself. Why didn't he say that? Again, I'm gonna call BS on that. I think it's just a cop-out to not admit the truth to you, that he just freaked out and left you without an explanation. Anyways, we've talked about this already, so now let's move on to the update to see what happened next and how the story ends, but of course before that, here's another one of my playlists for you to enjoy after this video. Now let's move on with that update. I want to thank everyone who responded to my old post. I'm a classic overthinker, so it really helped me to get all my thoughts out and bounce them off other people. You guys are the best. So on to the update. I went on the date and kicked my ex out of my life. That's the short version. And if you had asked me what I was going to do when I posted last time, I would have guessed I'd do the exact opposite. Now, if you're interested in the longer version, keep reading. I actually cancelled the date with the other guy, we'll call him Sean, shortly after writing the post. I just kept agonizing over what to do and I felt like it was giving me an ulcer, so I just backed out and told Sean that I wasn't in a good place to start something with someone new and that it wouldn't be fair to him. But if he wanted, we could hang out as friends. When I told the ex that, he actually seemed annoyed and said that the smart thing to do would have been to go on the date and that he thinks a clean slate is what I need. Oh, how benevolent of you to tell me what I need, you massive prick. Opie stole my side comment. He basically backpedaled and seemed to panic, so he was looking at the date as a way to keep from having to actually follow through on his promises to prove that he would be good to me. So I got my answer. He was full of crap. Big surprise. The actual surprise was when Sean actually wanted to hang out as friends and spent an hour trying to convince me to go out with him still. We had talked on the phone once, so apparently he had heard enough that he still really wanted to see me. So I went out with him and it was a great date. We talked about a ton of personal stuff because he obviously had questions about why I thought I wasn't ready, and we really opened up to each other, like intimacy level wise. It did not feel like a first date because we discussed so much stuff, but it just felt really natural for us. We are going out again this weekend and he's been really vocal about how much he likes me, so that's awesome. I'm so glad I went. Even though the ex showed me that he wasn't as serious about trying to do whatever it took to be in my life as he claimed to be, I didn't officially cut him off until after I went on the date. I guess I was still hoping he would step up, but after I went out with Sean, it just didn't matter whether or not my ex got his crap together because he was right about one thing. A clean slate and fresh start are exactly what I needed. So after going out with Sean, I wrote the ex a long message about how I got sick of waiting for him to treat me right, and I got tired of making allowances for him when all he ever did was disappoint me. I told him that he'd blown his chance by not bothering to follow through and told him that no matter how low he keeps setting the bar for himself, he never measures up. I deserve someone who is going to appreciate me, not take advantage of my willingness to forgive and jerk me around. I haven't heard from the ex since then, and I'll be unfriended and or blocked soon, but whatever. I don't need him in my life, and in my weaker moments, I'm sure I'll have them, when I catch myself wishing things were different and that he may wake up one day a changed man, I'll just have to remind myself that he can't and he won't. He just isn't capable of sincerity and backing up his words with his actions. So yeah, I'm going to go no contact. It's easy for me since I got so much practice from when he ghosted me, and I'm confident I'm done letting him take advantage of me. But he's certainly not the only jerk out there, and I hope I can fix my bad habits enough to stop the others from getting their hooks in me. But for my ex, I hope he won't ever contact me again, so I won't have to overcome my desire to be fair and hear him out. But he's a classic yo-yo guy, so I wouldn't be surprised if he came back again. I just hope I stay strong enough never to give him the chance to worm his way back into my life, and overall, I'm pleased with myself because this whole thing had been rough on me and I was proud of what I ended up doing. So thank you all. I'm glad it worked out the way it did, and I hope I'm finally done letting jerks take advantage of me. Opie's edit. Objectively, yes, Sean was coming on strong, but it didn't feel like too much at the time. I might have phrased it wrong, but it wasn't like he was crossing boundaries. He just asked why I cancelled, listened, asked questions about how I felt, and let me know that he was still interested in me, thought I was great, and would want to go out with me still if I was willing to. I'm not jumping into a relationship. We've been on one date. We have plans for another, but it's not like I'm hopping right into something serious. Well, Opie, good riddance. I do kinda get a sensation that you're not fully done or you're not fully with the closure yet, but hopefully you'll get there soon. And on that note, here's wishing you, Opie, the best in the future. Take care and thank you for sharing. Now, let's move on to the next post that, like I said in the beginning, also has an update. This post is from the subreddit Relationships and it's by user Cramp Hamster. Me, 28 female, with my old friend, 28 female, 9 years. We used to be close 9 years ago. I tried to reach out and was ignored. She starts talking to me now because she needs a favor. My old friend L, I met at university. We were dorm neighbors. We got along pretty well and she was my best friend for those 8 months. Then in the summer, she and some other friends got a house without me and I dropped out of school. Being forgotten by them was a factor, but there were some other reasons that I dropped out. I tried messaging her on Facebook a few times to see how she was, but she never responded. She started messaging me the other day and I was delighted. Like 20 minutes into the conversation, she asks me if she can crash at my house when she is going to be in town next week. I don't know what to do. I'm not busy that day, but I can't shake this feeling of being used. I want to say no, but I don't want to feel like a bad person. Well, OP, you wouldn't be a bad person, you would just feel like a bad person because apparently you are a good person. This is not your friend, this is somebody that ghosted you, forgot about you, and now that she needs something from you, she's reaching back out. Now, if she was interested in you, she would start a conversation. She wouldn't go ahead and just ask for a favor right away. She would be actually interested in knowing how you've been, what's up, all of that. But it sounds like she just made some chat small talk for a little bit to kind of not seem so, obvious. And then she just asked what she really wanted, a place to stay for that time. Now, assuming that we are correct about that assumption that she's got no interest in being your friend and she just wants to use you to crash, well then you've got two choices and I would say the one that makes you feel the best of both of them is the one that you should go for. If you say yes, you'll feel used. That's not a nice feeling, of course. And if you say no, you think you're gonna feel like a bad person. Now, honestly, I would roll the dice on the bad person to see if I would really feel like that. Just say no, OP. And what do you guys think about this whole thing? What would you do if you were in OP's shoes? Let me know in the comment section. And now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Girl 12 says, nope, no. She thinks she can pop in your life when she needs something? Not okay. Tell her, sorry, I can't have any guests right now. I'd love to hang out while you're in town though. Earth Garden says, say no, she is trying to use you. Quote, I want to say no, but I don't want to feel like a bad person. End quote. Okay, then don't say no and then feel even worse like a used person. Saying no will initially feel bad, maybe, but then it will be over and she'll go back to ignoring you. Saying yes means you'll feel bad for a good long while, especially when she comes, eats your food, ignores you while she's there, leaves a mess, and then goes back to ignoring you. She simply does not want to pay for a hotel room, so is trying to use you. Just say no. Don't let the feeling of brief momentary discomfort stop you from preventing some old friend from using you. It'll be like ripping off a band-aid, a monetary sting, but then you'll feel so much better and the wound can get some air and heal. And gosh darn wife says, saying no doesn't make you a bad person. Personally, it would irritate me a bit that somebody who couldn't be bothered before only wants to speak to me because they want something. Trivago is a pretty good place to look for a hotel room. And OP responds, part of me wonders if she never got back to me because she is a pretty flighty, read ditzy person. That's also why I feel bad about saying no because she probably doesn't have extra money to spend on a hotel last minute. Alright, well the community's being pretty clear. No, OP, don't do it. And OP didn't give us much context, just that one answer that doesn't say much, so let's move on to the update to see how this story ends. Oh my god, you guys were right. I read all of your comments and still wanted to believe her that she wanted to be friends again. I didn't mention this in my last post, but her reason for coming to my city is to go to a school orientation thing because she is moving here in the fall. And I had reconnected with a different friend after they moved here and I thought it would turn out okay. She invited me to the school thing with free lunch and brought me some gifts, bagels, from where she was traveling from, a place known for bagels. I thought all you guys were biased because you didn't know her and how like the hippie she can be sometimes. Very go with the flow creative type. So she shows up 2.5 hours late at midnight. We talk for a bit and it's nice, but to be honest, I miffed because I am very sleepy as I was busy all day cleaning and baking her fresh banana bread like the sucker that I am. She takes a shower and goes downstairs, and then me and my boyfriend, who she had to ask the name of, like, you couldn't just look on Facebook before you came, we have been dating for 3.5 years. We were getting ready for bed and noticed something odd. A big gob of toothpaste on his toothbrush, and we feel the bristles and it's wet? No, she couldn't be using our toothbrushes. I must have gotten them wet when I was cleaning up or something. We wake up and go to the thing. It's kind of boring, but like, I don't have anything else to do and there's free food and whatever. We walk around campus for a bit and it's alright. We talk about our lives and she forgets very important details about my life. A big trip coming up in a week that I told her last night. I give her a tour as it's the school I graduated from, but she's not listening. But whatever, I'm kind of used to being ignored anyways, so I just enjoy my free food and then we go home. We chill for a little bit, but she's hinting that maybe she could live at my house in the extra space I have when she's at school. I say probably not, since it would be a weird third wheel situation, which she is also moving out of now. See, I listened to her life stuff. She mentions that she thought she lost her toothbrush yesterday, but then she found it in the car. I am now 99% sure she used the toothbrush. Ew, who does that? Anyway, she leaves and whatever, it's over. I regret it, but I helped someone and that's good, right? Then I opened the bagels. They are rancid. They smell like forest floor. I look at them and they're all covered in blue mold and my stomach turns. I am retching at the smell of these bagels. So now I'm just furious, and I hate to say it, but you guys were right. Well, OP, two things. First, respect for coming back to Reddit and telling the community that they were right. And two, even though I absolutely disagree with how you went about things, you're taking the learning so this doesn't happen again. So here's wishing you the best in the future, OP. Thank you for sharing and take care. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out, so here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later, and also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.